we've got a lot of good callers today. I want to talk to Ronan out of Saudi Arabia. He's a Muslim, but he's at a crossroads and he has some questions. Ronan, were you born a Muslim?
Yes, correct. Like most religious people, you are born into it, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Give us your question. Now, I'm not any kind of a expert in Muslim theology or stuff, but a lot of the same arguments would apply to Allah as they would to the Christian Jewish God. J. Mike, I don't know what J. Mike's familiarity is with that stuff. What is yours?
Not nearly as much as Christianity, but
yeah, but a lot of the stuff still applies. So what's one of your questions?
Philosophical arguments, everybody will just take one and attach it to whatever God that they want.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, the Christian philosophers owe a great debt to the Muslim philosophers who helped the Christians get even further into the weeds on bad thinking. But go ahead. What do you got? What's the question?
Yes, the question I have are, you don't have to necessarily be a Muslim to answer them, so it's okay. Mm-hmm. I was born, just a quick summary, I was born a Muslim and I went to like a madrasa. Like madrasa is a place they teach you Quran at a young age.
Yeah.
I actually also memorized part of the Quran, like 4 chapters, which is a lot, like I think 150 pages maybe, but I forgot them now, all of them, so it doesn't matter. But
other stuff in the head, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, exactly, yes. So anyway, as I grow older, I started, reading. I started reading about philosophy and reason and argumentative. What do you call it? Like making arguments.
Sure.
You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, arguments and proofs, and I started applying them in my life, and then I started applying them in my religion, and I noticed some stuff, and I don't know, man. I feel like my bullshit detector is ticking. You know.
Yeah. Ronan, give us some specifics.
Yes,
we're with you. A lot of us have been down this path. So let's get down to brass tacks, as we say.
Yeah.
Okay. I will. Okay. First of all, why did God make this way of communication through prophets? It seems that very unreliable.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very obvious.
Yes. It's almost like those aren't messages from a deity. It's almost like you could suggest that it's just somebody who wanted to claim that they were messages from a deity so they could take other people's cash and they could exert more political social power. It's almost like that's the case, right?
Yeah. I think like, okay, but for example, let's say and the Christian prophet, Jesus, he did not, I think, I'm not sure, maybe you are better at this subject, but Jesus, maybe he didn't want power. But what did he want? Why did he claim, why did he want, he claimed to be, he didn't claim, he claimed to be son of God, I forgot.
Okay. Well, I don't want to put words into maybe a fictional person's mouth, but he did have some followers, right? He did have not only 12 or 13 really close followers, wink, wink, but crowds of people would listen to him, right?
Yes.
So some people are attracted.
Well, in Matthew, they changed that. Like, Matthew adds a lot of crowds, but
sure,
don't worry about it in the other ones.
Yeah, but that's speculating as to what motivated a person. What motivated David Koresh? What motivated, Benny? What's his name? These televangelists. What motivates those people? What motivated the Buddha? What motivated Muhammad? Any number of motivations, but just because they had earthly motivations, to put it that way, doesn't mean that their message isn't true. We have to evaluate that on a sort of on a different level, right?
Ronan?
Well, J. Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
I wanted to get to like a very specific hang up because I don't know though, because I didn't obviously was never Muslim or Christian, but
yeah,
I had my own beliefs that I came out of, and I don't remember the kind of crossroads. I know I had it where it was like, what the fuck am I believing? It was like just hit me like, why do I believe in this shit? You know, but I want to know what that is because I'm not convinced it's just the methodology of like how the message was revealed. Presumably that you can tug on that string and it's a big ball of yarn. So I'm kind of curious on what's like cumulative case or like the biggest thing that stands out to Ronan.
Sure. Well, just to speak about that, I've had that thought as well, and we've talked about this on the show in the past. I don't know exactly what would be a surefire way to communicate from a deity to all of humanity. Probably having an imaginary friend that floated in front of everyone that you couldn't touch, but was always communicating messages to you, like a hologram, right? Like Harry Seldon from the Foundation series, or Jor-El from Superman 1 and 2, right? Be able to communicate and interact with, and everybody saw this hologram, and everyone was able to ask questions, and something like that. A truly shared hallucination that or not even a hallucination, spiritual, ghostly companion that everyone could access. That would be a good way to do it. Like, God, what should I do about Betty? Should I marry Betty? Well, what do you say in your heart, my child? I don't know. I'm also in love with Tony. Well, my child, whatever. Like, you could talk to this person. You could ask questions. That would be something. What else? It wouldn't even have to interfere with a person's free will. But the fact is, we don't have that. What we have is a game of telephone. That's what we have.
We don't even get a whole like.
Yeah.
I got this revelation from the angel Gabriel, and here's a whole section on how I know. Here's like how I know I wasn't deceived, and this was really the message from Gabriel. Here's like this. I'm just going to knock any of this kind of skepticism out of the way. There's none of that. Like if I had gotten a revelation from somebody, a big portion of my holy book is going to be trying really hard to lay out a case on why I am not mistaken. Yeah. And why everybody should agree that I'm not mistaken, because I'm going to realize, look, they're divorced from this. People in the future are going to be divorced from this. Yeah. There's this really strong inductive evidence that everybody that claims this is wrong. And so now you have 8 billion people against the one time that it's really happening, Yeah. I would lay out a giant thing on it, but you don't get that. There's no hadiths that go over that, right?
It's crap. It's crap, J. Mike. It's we're back. Great. It's the worst way to communicate. So what are some other examples that you've got? I think you're back with us, Ronan.
Other example is like in the Quran, they mentioned like everything comes from water or something like that. Like water is
cool.
Yes. Then I start, through philosophy, you read a lot of things, and I read like Thales said the same thing. Thales, a pre-Socratic philosopher.
Oh yeah.
Said everything comes. Yeah, he said the same thing, but he didn't claim to be a prophet.
No. Although, did he not? Isn't the apocryphal story about Thales is that he invested in some sort of agricultural equipment based upon his meteorological studies? It's and that he made a fortune. So he was kind of a prophet according to the myth.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
I don't know if it's real.
Profit where it counts. Yeah.
Profit where it counts, baby. Ronan, what else you got? Because I'm going to say one more thing after you give us your next example.
Just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Does this mean we 90% planet Earth are living in mass illusion? Isn't that scary?
No, I don't think it is because I think it's just bad reasoning. Politically, I think that it's just, I don't think we're all in a mass delusion. I don't think that we're brainwashed. I think that we're just not crossing the T's and dotting the I's on the method by which we accept new facts and make conclusions. That's all it is. That you find that we had the caller earlier today who had all these reasons why historical analysis proves that God exists. He was kind of a big picture guy, didn't really have any specifics. People are busy. They get up, they have chores, they have responsibilities to others and themselves, and they kind of just kind of skip over all the little points, and they're just kind of following suit with whatever they were raised with a lot of times. And I do it too. I'm not any different. And so all it really is some bad, I don't know, brain viruses got into human thought. They were useful on some level to give us cultural cohesion, and we just stick with it because it's convenient to do so. We can keep going with the same cultural traditions. I don't think that we're demented or deluded or hallucinating. I think we're just kind of intellectually lazy, and that goes for atheists too. That's where I think we're at, Ronan. Nothing more.
Yeah, I think Johnny hits it on the head with the methodology because of or at least with not having the tools or the tool set. In a lot of cases, people just don't have the tool set, and that's kind of the purpose of this show. And one of its many ways is that you're going to have, hopefully, this reaches people who it just clicks for them, or eventually clicks for them that I haven't actually applied any tool set or even thought about this. And what lingers, I think, or the thing that I think a lot of people get stuck on is I think we all get kind of uncomfortable not knowing the answer, especially when if it's something in your life that's really important to you. And I think when you have that crossroads like you're at, that's the time where you need to start putting stock into a methodology, right? Something that can guide your reasoning and help you out, that you can go back and check. And it's like, okay, well, I care about, sound arguments, or I care about predictive expectation or predictive success in my theory. I care about taking the thing in my head, the imagination of this idea, and applying a method or a tool set that shows that it reflects reality in a way that we all share and understand that, hey, it's not just this idea of an electron I have. I can demonstrate this shit to you. I can make predictive success with this shit. And I think from there, that uncomfortability starts to slowly, you start to become more, I guess, epistemically more humble, or more humble about what you know, because you can start to see the limitations of it. And to me, it starts to be, at least for me, it wasn't a bad thing to realize I'm not going to know all the answers in that case, but it was enough for me to go, look, I don't have justification to accept this proposition to be true. And so I shouldn't affirm it. I shouldn't say that this proposition or this belief or whatever is true, absent applying this method that's going to help guide me down the line. And I hope, if that's where you're at in the crossroads, that the next kind of method or step you want to take is really looking into, I think X is true. Like, how can I falsify that? How can I verify that? Right. And that to me is, you're on the right path from there. I don't think that that'll stray you away.
Yeah. Ronan, you honestly sound like you're a non-believer. I'm not going to put thoughts into your head, but you don't sound like a very strong believer. It sounds like you've identified some of the weak points on a scale of 1 to 10. With
kind of.
Where are you? How strong is your faith in Allah? 1 to 10.
I can't answer. Let me think. Maybe I'll call you later.
That's fine.
Perfectly fine. I mean, here's another thing. Here's another thing that I don't think, Ronan, you're going to hear from the side you're coming from. Maybe you will. I'm skeptical that you will. But you're going to hear it from me and Johnny. Don't listen to what we say. Don't just watch the show and be like, oh, Johnny and J Mike are right. They sound smart, or they sound stupid. Well, maybe they sound stupid, but that one thing they said, I agree, because it sounded cool or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't take our word for it. In fact, don't believe me. Yeah. Everything I said about the apocalyptic view with the caller of last with Jesus, don't believe what I said. Just assume I made all of that shit up, but then go check and go look. And that's why I'm confident saying, don't believe me. If I know the next steps that you're going to do is verify it or try to falsify it, very confident. Extremely confident. And so I think that that's something you're not going to have pushed to you or sold in the snake oil, right? It's not part of the snake oil for them to mention that. In fact, they bake in the kind of opposite of that. That hey, it's not the world's gonna think you're crazy.
Yeah,
it's them. It's not you. It's them. And
yeah. Hey, Ronan, just piggybacking on what J. Mike said about snake oil. I don't know if you know what snake oil salesmen are. I don't want to assume you do or don't. Do you know what a snake? Do you know what snake oil is? No. It's good illustration of the whole point.
I do.
You do?
Sweet, awesome.
But I grew up in Saudi Arabia, but I'm very familiar with your culture.
Oh, okay. Well, what does a snake oil salesman do? A snake oil salesman wants you to commit to a decision as quickly as you can. Give you those $5 so you can buy the oil it's a cure-all for all your problems.
Yeah.
But once you actually look at it, it doesn't do jack squat, and all you're out is $5. Religion's a bit more insidious, right? It promises you the moon and stars and the cure for all of existence, and all it demands of you is dedication for your entire life. And once the life's over, we non-believers don't believe you got anything else. So you're on the right course. Keep on asking questions. You've identified probably the crummiest parts of a theistic worldview, like the bad reasons. But start going after the best reasons to believe in Allah.
Exactly.
Right? And you're going to find, at least I've found, there's nothing much better than that. Like, it's all just a house of cards, at least as far as I've seen. Now, there's probably some callers who would disagree with us. But Ronan, you get out of here, okay? Go keep on your journey. You call back, okay? Please call back with more questions. We want to hear about it. All right?
Yeah, Ronan, I would love to hear an update from you. I felt like this conversation was like just three people talking in a room, not even realizing that it was a whole live show. It felt very genuine, honest conversation. And so I would really like to be updated on where you head, whether you still hold the beliefs or not. I mean, I'm just interested in where you go from here.
And be safe while you do so. I don't want to make any assumptions about Saudi Arabia, but it's not known throughout the world as being a place where a discussion of the untruths, the truthlessness or the unreliability of Islam is tolerated and openly discussed. It's not known for that, at least. And maybe it is in your community. But whatever you do it in safety, do it with people you trust, and call back. We want to hear from you. Okay. We really enjoyed that call.